2024 has been a wild ride for the gaming industry, with some titles leaving a lasting impression for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's due to technical issues, poor design choices, or the failure to live up to expectations, these 10 games stand as some of the biggest flops of the year. From highly anticipated sequels to bold new IPs, these releases had the potential to make waves, but instead sank without a trace. Let's dive into the biggest gaming disappointments of 2024 and see where things went wrong. So, the 10th biggest flop game of 2024 on our list is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. From its initial reveal, many fans were disappointed to learn that Rocksteady Studios, once highly regarded, had ventured into live service gaming with Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Despite a year-long delay, the game launched to a lackluster reception, drawing in only a small player base. Plagued by a clunky UI and uninspired mission design, it quickly became clear this was not the kind of game fans expected from a studio of Rocksteady's caliber. Shortly after release, Warner Bros. Reported a staggering $200 million loss, with Suicide Squad being a major contributor. Although updates with new characters and story content have been rolled out, Rocksteady now operates with a reduced team, focused on fulfilling post-launch commitments while shifting their efforts toward a revamped version of Hogwarts Legacy. And the 9th biggest flop game of 2024 on our list is Foam Stars. February was a tough month for AAA publishers and their live service struggles. While Warner Bros. Struggled to push Suicide Squad, Square Enix made missteps with Foam Stars. Despite positive feedback from those who tried it, the game was overshadowed, launching the same week as Helldivers 2, a PlayStation-exclusive shooter. PSN Profiles shows over 30,000 players own Foam Stars on PS4 and PS5, largely due to it being free for PlayStation Plus members. However, player numbers have since plummeted, leaving fans unable to find matches. And on number 8, we have MultiVersus. It was strange when Player First Games and Warner Bros. Abruptly pulled MultiVersus from the market after a relatively successful beta. A year later, the online platform Fighter returned in May 2024. But what actually improved? Connectivity was worse than during the beta. Monetization became more aggressive with characters priced at $10 each, and the game's speed was noticeably slower, with many characters having fewer moves. After a year of redevelopment, MultiVersus somehow returned in a more flawed state. Unsurprisingly, these baffling changes left players frustrated, leading to an even faster player exodus than before. And the 7th biggest flop game of 2024 on our list is Star Wars Hunters. 2024 hasn't been a great year for the Star Wars IP, at least financially. Star Wars Hunters was already met with lukewarm reactions when Zynga first teased it back in February 2021. A Star Wars hero shooter? Fans already have the heroes versus villains mode in Battlefront 2. On top of that, Hunters doesn't let you play as iconic characters, and it's exclusive to the Switch. Even as a free-to-play title, the game fails to impress, with nearly empty servers reflecting the lack of interest. While you can still find matches, they're mostly filled with bots. And on number 6, we have XDefiant. Yet another major flop has hit the live service market. Unlike some other titles, XDefiant initially received praise for its gunplay and concept. However, poor level design and technical issues left many players underwhelmed, leading to a rapid decline in its player base. As numbers continued to drop, layoffs at Ubisoft San Francisco sparked rumors of the game's potential shutdown. While the studio has denied these claims, in the fiercely competitive online gaming space, it's uncertain whether XDefiant can stage a meaningful comeback. And the 5th biggest flop game of 2024 is Dustborn. As gamers grow increasingly tired of overtly political themes in games, titles like Dustborn have become easy targets for online backlash. What makes Dustborn stand out, though, is how it almost seems to invite criticism. The writing and music are so poorly executed that it's hard to tell if the game is a parody of slice-of-life storytelling or if it genuinely embraces its soapbox messaging and cringe-worthy garage band soundtrack. Whatever the intention, the results speak for themselves. Dustborn peaked at just 83 players on Steam, despite PC Gamer describing its sales as apparently modest. Even the few outlets that reviewed it seemed largely indifferent. And the fourth biggest flop game of 2024 is Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. The first Hellblade was truly something special. While not perfect, Ninja Theory brought fantastic ideas to the table with its combat, story, and minimalist UI. So how did Hellblade 2 end up like this 7 years later? Visually, the game is stunning, but everything else left us scratching our heads. The combat was overly simplified, with an unnecessary slow-motion effect making it feel too easy. The forced widescreen presentation felt limiting, and the game was overloaded with walking corridors. Fans who had waited years for an evolution of the original's concepts were left disappointed, and the game reignited debates about developers prioritizing cinematic experiences over gameplay. Strangely, Xbox has remained silent about both the game's sales and player numbers. And the third biggest flop game of 2024 on our list is Star Wars Outlaws. Unlike many other failures this year, Star Wars Outlaws is actually a well-made game. However, the fatigue surrounding the Star Wars IP has taken its toll, with many fans showing little interest. As a result, Outlaws has struggled to sell, making it one of Ubisoft's biggest flops of the year. The game's poor commercial performance not only contributed to a drop in Ubisoft's share prices, but also sparked significant backlash. One frustrated stakeholder even penned a letter criticizing the company's leadership and calling for the removal of Ubisoft's founding Guillemot family. And on number 2, we have Skull and Bones. Here we are with Ubisoft's third and final entry on this list. You probably already know what 2024's biggest flop is, but before that, let's talk about Skull and Bones, a game with a lot to answer for. After a decade in development, a complete project restart, funding from the Singapore government, and countless delays, what did Ubisoft deliver with this so-called quadruple A title? Essentially, a watered-down version of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, featuring simplified combat, uninspired crafting mechanics, and a story as grating as GTA Online. 11 years of waiting for this? To put the failure into perspective, Sea of Thieves sold 4 times as many copies when it launched back in 2018. Ouch. And the last biggest flop game of 2024 on our list is Concord. Sony might be counting on Black Myth Wukong to recoup some losses because Concord left a massive dent in their finances. After a lackluster beta, the writing was already on the wall, but few could have predicted the disaster that unfolded when the game launched in August 2024. Concord bombed both critically and commercially, so badly that Sony pulled it from sale without warning less than 2 weeks after release. Rumors quickly spread, with reports claiming the game had a staggering $400 million budget, half funded by Sony, none of which included their acquisition of Firewalk Studios. It's a massive setback for the future of PlayStation. Have you played any of these games yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more gaming content like this.